Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the Wii U. So I bought this a couple weeks before the Nintendo eShop closed on March 27th of this year, and this is my first time owning a Wii U, and it's been great for Virtual Console, but I haven't been able to use it much because I didn't have any Wii U games until now. I bought Breath of the Wild for the Wii U, and it works great. So as a console, it works really well, but it was a failure mainly because of its commercials being marketed towards little kids mainly versus like the Wii, which was marketed towards the whole family. And in 2023, it works pretty well for like Virtual Console and stuff. I haven't modded this Wii U, so I got this mainly to play Wii games in HD and play HD remakes of Zelda games pretty much, and it works really well. But when you compare it to a Nintendo Switch, this is one that I took apart completely and put a new shell on it. It definitely lags behind in performance a little bit. The Nintendo Switch isn't a huge power upgrade to the Wii U, but when you play something like Breath of the Wild together, you can definitely tell that it lags a lot in certain places that the Nintendo Switch doesn't. Other than the performance though, the gamepad pretty much looks like a Nintendo Switch almost, except this just connects wirelessly to the console here and doesn't actually play games on here, and it's just a controller with a screen on it. This is the console itself. Kind of looks like a Wii, but it's bigger and more rounded off too. But like comparing this to the Nintendo Switch, it's definitely a huge size difference because all of this is pretty much put into here, except this uses little tiny cartridges and the Wii U uses discs. And it's nice that the Wii U uses discs because then you can use your original Wii games, and it's kind of just like nostalgia because it has the same sound as the Wii. But other than that, let's turn it on and see how well it runs. So as you can see from that, it definitely takes a while to load in, and it's got menu music versus the Nintendo Switch that doesn't have any, but it's got this nice little menu you can switch around here. Obviously a lot of this stuff doesn't work anymore, like I'm pretty sure Miiverse is gone, and obviously the eShop is gone too, but I have some virtual games on here that work well. It's also got the Wii menu here, which is pretty much another reason why this console failed, because people thought it was an accessory for the Wii, because they pretty much promoted it so much as an accessory for the Wii because they showed the gamepad. So let's load in Breath of the Wild and see how it runs compared to the Nintendo Switch, or at least how the resolution is. So putting this on the big screen, it just has this little menu here and you can switch between them two. So let's start at Breath of the Wild. Now we have Breath of the Wild up and running on here, and playing on a big screen, it looks great. It looks just as good as the Nintendo Switch. And you can see it runs great too. And on the gamepad, you can see here that you can actually just switch where you want to play it. So if you tap here, then it'll just turn it off of the screen or the TV, and it'll start playing it on here. Now the speakers on here aren't great, but it works well. You can see that the resolution is really low, because if you look at the hearts at the top corner here, they get really pixelated compared to playing the Nintendo Switch. So now when you play on the Nintendo Switch, I know this is a Switch OLED, so it looks a little bit different from the regular Switch, but other than the bigger screen and the better colors, it's the same 720p resolution as a normal Switch, so there's really no difference. But playing this on the Switch versus the Wii U, you can definitely tell things are different. Playing on the TV, there's really nothing different besides load times being slightly slower on the Wii U, and some areas having more lag than others. But on here, you can see that when you look at the hearts here, they're not nearly as pixelated as on the Wii U, and that's because the Wii U is 480p while this is 720p. But other than that, playing on the TV is not going to be any different, but playing this in handheld mode and playing the Wii U on the gamepad, there's a huge difference there. Okay, now that we're in Kakariko Village, you can see it runs fine around here. But if we jump down to the middle here, on the Nintendo Switch it lags quite a bit too, but not as bad as this. You can see that it starts just freezing up a little bit. That's not a big issue for gameplay because it's just a town. But switch over to the gamepad here. I think on the gamepad it definitely lags a bit more just because it's wireless versus playing on the TV itself. But you can definitely tell it lags a little bit versus the Nintendo Switch. On this tower here, I've definitely noticed that while playing, it definitely looks a bit more pixelated. Like around the pedestal there and whatever that's on top. It definitely gets a little bit more pixelated around there. But jumping off just to the field down here, you can see that it runs fine on the field. When you're fighting enemies, it runs just fine. Sometimes if there's a lot of enemies, it lags a lot more than Nintendo Switch. And the Nintendo Switch lags too when there's a lot of enemies, but sometimes it just gets pretty laggy. But when you're just walking around, it usually doesn't freeze up. It kind of freezes up on Hyrule Field a little bit. Other than that, it runs fine though. So for 2023, the Wii U works fine, but with emulation stuff, it's probably not needed unless you want to mod the Wii U and make it just a great emulation machine. I've thought about emulating this, but I'm not sure. Tell me in the comments if I should. That's the end of the video. Please comment, like, and subscribe.